Video. How about?
Okay.
Hey, there you are.
Hello.
Morning,
Ricky.
Sheri.
There we go.
Look at that. Look at that crew, huh? Wakey, wakey. This is, we're missing one person today, and that is our friend Ian Marshall, who's not feeling well. So it'll just be the four of us. But thanks for sitting through some of that technical difficulty. This should be broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and all different places. But if you are here and you're wondering why we're here, we're talking about eXp Realty, and we have some veterans here today that have been with the company almost since the very beginning. And what we're going to talk about is a little bit about what it was like in the very beginning, how far we've seen this company grow, and then what we feel is the next wave or let's say groundbreaking milestone for eXp Realty. But before we get started, I'm David Harbour. I am the was the Virginia State broker. I've been with the company 9 years. I was one of the company's regional development leaders, and I've been in real estate 21 years. So yeah, that's my background. Why don't we go first, ladies first, Sheri.
Sure. So my background is I've been in real estate for 20 years, and in January of 2016, I had the opportunity to launch eXp Realty in Wisconsin. So I've been with the company since then, so just 4 years now. And it seems like, you know, the beginning. I know I'm the youngster out of the group, but yeah, I've seen a lot of changes in the last 4 years as well.
Ricky?
Ricky's muted.
I'm sorry, I have to get the mic off. Yes, I too launched eXp in Louisiana, December of 2014. So started that state, became the state broker, and was the managing broker for a couple of years before we hired Kathy Venable to take my place, and then became the regional development leader and opened up Mississippi and helped launch and grow Arkansas as well as Louisiana. So I've seen lots of growing with this company and look forward to continued growth. It's been a great ride so far.
How about you, Joey?
Hey, I'm Joe Schumer. I was the first agent in New Mexico and became the state broker. We had a couple hundred active agents at that time. My employee number is, or agent number is 66. That was 8 years ago this February. We were in 11 states at that time. Now we're in all 50 states, all the provinces of Canada, UK, and Australia. We have grown from a couple hundred agents to 26,000. And that's because this is a company that is setting the curve, the edge of technology. We weren't a publicly traded company when I got started. Today we are regional development leader for 5 states in the past, looking for the huge growth and benefits that we're all going to have through eXp Realty.
Well, I think I tallied it up without Ian. Ian was the other person that was going to be on today. He's not feeling well. We'll send a shout out to Ian, but he was the Georgia State broker and one of the regional development leaders, been with the company 6 years and has been a big influence in the early goings of eXp. I think we had 32 years between us with the company, which is pretty amazing. But I thought I'd maybe start off the conversation was when you first thought about coming on board with eXp, and you know, especially for you, Joe, when they weren't public, they didn't have KV Core websites, we were only in a handful of sites. What was your thought process? What made you go, I'm hitching my wagon to that company?
Well, I heard about eXp at a MLS event that we had, and Stefan Swanepoel was a paid speaker, and he talked about new companies, a new type of company. He said it was a cloud-based company, no bricks and mortar cost, high technology, highly engaging for the agents. And immediately I was interested. I'd been number one producing Remax agent at the number one producing Remax in New Mexico. Had started my own brokerage, and you know, bricks and mortar was a big cost. And my wife had said, you know, how come you're still paying for your office that you don't go too much? And it just clicked. It finally clicked. And I looked at eXp Realty. 3 days later, I was with eXp Realty. I understood that I could have a business, a real estate business, where my total cost would be $16,000 a year at the most. I had at one time an $11,000 a month nut to crack, and 16,000 was cheap. Today, with our revenue share, I'm at 100% plus company. I receive more money from eXp Realty than I give them. And it was just for 16 grand. I had my own company. I had somebody to train my agents. I was a super agent. I wasn't a businessman other than selling real estate. I wasn't an organizer. So I joined the organization because it was there.
What about you, Sheri?
Yeah, so when I discovered eXp Realty, it was introduced very sneakily to me by a friend of mine. I thought I was recruiting her to come to the company I worked at before, which was Keller Williams, and I was a team leader for them for almost 5 years in Madison. And so I thought I was actually going to recruit her to join Keller Williams, and she kind of turned the tables on me and showed me this presentation for eXp Realty. And I was truly blown away. And similar to Joe's experience with running offices in Madison and understanding the expense of the brick and mortar and how difficult that was to remain profitable as a brokerage, this model just made a lot of sense to me. And the other thing that I saw that I really, really liked was the fact that with revenue share and with stock awards, our agents were able to create a business for themselves in a future. And it's something that was very, very unique to the industry and something I had seen over my years as a real estate, broker, trainer, manager, that agents really struggle with their finances sometimes as far as, setting money aside for retirement and things like that. So this really solved a lot of issues that I saw in the industry.
How about you, Rick?
Well, I've been licensed real estate broker for around 23 years, and first built a boutique brokerage to around 25 agents, at which point I merged with another agent and we took over a local RE/MAX franchise. And after 12 months as a franchise owner, realized there was no profits and money kept going out. I sold out my ownership because I saw which road that was going on. Also a licensed residential contractor, so I started building more homes and just opened a boutique firm with 3 agents, just myself and a couple of agents, and that's the way I operated for 15 years. And then my business partner in my real estate brokerage was being coached in the Haas-Pratt system. And when he went to a conference, he actually ran into Joe Schumer down there at the bottom. And Joe had actually introduced him to eXp. He came back to Louisiana where they had no broker in the state. So I researched the model for around 30 days before I finally jumped into it, because I knew that once I got into it, I was into it. But it's been the best decision of my life. Part of the reason why I chose to do it was because I saw the freedom at the end of the road. I saw an exit strategy. Not that I'm never going to stop working, because I love what I do, but I don't have to get up every day and get on that hamster wheel running to chase the next deal. I saw the potential of the stock. I saw the potential of the revenue share. I liked part of the reason why I got out of the big brokerage was because there was no profits. And I liked the idea that you can be a broker without build a brokerage without being the broker with eXp. You can attract agents and revenue share a piece of their commission sales and not personally be responsible for managing or being liable for those agents. Each and every state in our company has a state broker that manages those agents. So I can bring people into the company knowing that they're going to get some of the best training, some of the best technology, and they're also going to be managed by qualified state brokers. And I get a little piece of their commission each and every time they sell, should I say. So that's, why I jumped in, and that's something that I've really grown to love about this company.
When I reflect back and I look at when I was approached, and I'll send a shout out to Tom Somerville, who I had met out at the RE/MAX conventions. He was leaving RE/MAX because he felt that it wasn't a great fit for him anymore. And he said, hey, I want to introduce you to this company you've never heard of, but I think they're the next big thing in real estate. Now, RE/MAX at the time, I think, was number one. I had a team of agents. I was on HGTV. I was like, what? I'm not leaving RE/MAX. Forget it. And then all of a sudden I started, reading about it. And he asked me just a few questions. And it really got my wheels turning. He said, do you have any equity in your brokerage? And I go, no. He goes, will you get anything once you retire or once you leave that brokerage? And I was like, no. And he said, do you have any type of exit strategy, for your family with your brokerage? And right there, that kind of started getting me thinking about, well, maybe this is unique. And I remember I couldn't sleep. So I think somebody said, once you hear it, you can't unhear it. I couldn't sleep. And I told my wife, I said, I think I'm leaving Remax to go with this brokerage nobody's ever heard of. And thank goodness she was, very supportive. But I'm sure that the people around me were looking at me like, what are you doing? That's the dumbest thing you ever did in your life. You've just ruined your career.
Right.
Well, like you said, Ricky, fast forward, best decision I ever made. What were some of the early hurdles? I'm curious that you had. I know, Joe, you said you came on both before we actually were publicly traded.
Yeah, we, the first group of people that I brought on board, I talked to a friend of mine, and he had 15 agents. And at that time, we did everything, even though we were, high technology, we still did the paperwork by hand. And it took a little while to get that done, about half a day, and get everybody organized and get them into the cloud office. But what has occurred now is we've got the third iteration of our cloud office, where we've got our campus and we actually own it. So it's a proprietary process. And just getting used to going into the cloud office. Now I wouldn't do without the cloud office, because an agent or someone can contact me and say, hey, Joe, can you meet in the office? If I'm driving, I can pull over to the side of the road, break out my laptop and my Wi-Fi and be in the cloud office. So going across town in traffic, I don't have to do with that. That was easy to get over. I can talk to somebody on, around the world like we are right now. I'm in El Paso, Texas. Dave's in Virginia, Ricky's in Louisiana, and Sheri's in Wisconsin, and we're doing this. And we can jump out, jump back in. And now that stock is trading on the NASDAQ, it's not if eXp Realty is going to be huge. It's just going to be how huge, and if you're going to be a part of it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the article in Inman yesterday with Glenn. He's saying we're just getting started.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, which gets me
awesome.
excited.
Yeah.
As far as seeing this company, a lot of people, I get this all the time. Oh, that company's, they don't have enough money. They can't even afford offices. They don't have any offices. So they must be working on a shoestring budget. And I find that funny. I mean, how do you guys address that when somebody says to you, hey, Sheri, come on, you guys can't even afford offices. How's this thing going to sustain?
Well, it's not a matter of whether we can afford them or not. It was a choice to do business this way. And when I was running offices in Madison, my overhead expenses were $50,000 to $60,000 a month.
Wow.
So for me, it really, knowing that we could cut that expense out and then offer the agents more because we give them better splits. We have a very low cap. We offer them stock awards. We have revenue share. So basically, we're taking the money we were using for bricks and mortar offices and giving that back to the agents so that they can be more successful, have a better future, and that's really significant. And I think one of the challenges of starting like in Wisconsin as the first state broker, as we expanded into multiple MLSs, and then later as the regional development leader going into states like North Dakota, for instance, this virtual model really blew a lot of MLSs away. They didn't know how to handle it. So that was one of our first hurdles that we all had to overcome, because they're like, well, what do you mean you don't have an office? So we had to really reshape the thinking, and we are very much pioneers in a lot of ways in many of the states and MLSs that we've expanded into.
Yeah. Ricky, you're going to say something?
I've lost. What was our transaction management software we had before SkySlope?
Paperless Pipeline, wasn't it? No?
It wasn't Paperless Pipeline.
Guru. It was Guru.
That's
Guru?
Oh,
okay.
Oh my gosh.
that was,
Rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace.
coming into EXP, I was less than a 1 in technology. I could check my email and do a few other things, but how I've grown, and I might be close to a 5 now. I'm not near where I want to be, but I've come a long way. And Guru, that technology was quite complicated on uploading documents and tracking transactions and just the whole process. But since they've instituted SkySlope, it's just a smooth running transactions that I see now. And that's been something that we've done. But one of the core value that I like best is agile. And as we've grown from when I joined under 500 agents to finishing the next year at 1,000 or 1,500, jumping to 6,000, jumping to 12,000, and now we're over 25,000. The company doubling or tripling in size each and every year. That Glenn Sanford and our executive team has been able to stay agile and address the administrative needs along the way. Yes, with that tremendous growth we've had in those few years, it was tight transactions. It was tough to get some things done because they didn't anticipate how fast EXP was going to grow. So the staff, but now we're staffed and they've got more than enough staff and they're positioned to handle the growth that they're expecting to have over the next few years. But that was kind of my hurdle. But I've been impressed with Glenn Sanford and the way he's addressed each and every, growth pain or growing pain that we've had and stayed agile to adjust and grow as we've done. He's done a phenomenal job as the founder of this company.
Yeah, going back to the office question that we sometimes get, it kind of clicks with me because I was in a beautiful 10,000 square foot office and had plasma TVs. And I thought to myself, I never bring a client there. And I think that there's a study out there by NAR that shows most top producing agents don't go into the office. So it started to click with me. Would I rather have a big fancy office that I'm paying for and that overhead, or would I rather have stock and the opportunity for residual income? A big fancy leather couch that I never sit on, or actual money in my account? And it was like, that's a no-brainer. What are some of I'm just curious. And one other side note, I know that since I've been here, they have not raised fees in 9 years. They're the same.
Right.
However, they keep adding tools and they keep adding classes. I think we started out with 10 to 15 classes. Now we're up to 50 classes. You look at all the tools that we have, Broker Breakthrough, SkySlope, our websites, KV Core, the Regis, they just keep adding layers on.
And these classes are interactive too. It's not like you're sitting there and just listening to something passively. These are interactive classes where you can share the screen. The facilitator can be the screen. And if you've got something to add to the process, you can become a facilitator in our cloud office also. I mean, it's a
smart way to work.
Right.
When you go in here the first couple of times to the cloud office, and if you're watching this, you haven't been, go to Ricky, Sheri, Joe, and ask them for an invite. You can come in but the first time or two, it's a little weird and awkward, and then it clicks, and then you go, I get it. I don't have to drive, and then it's raining out and snow, and you can do the exact same thing in the cloud office that you can in a regular office. I tell people, except shake a hand and spill coffee on you. That's it.
And you can collaborate with top producers around the United States that are willing to share with you in your market where they're not willing to share with other agents in their market through their typical franchise brokerage.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah, and Dave, like you mentioned, 50 hours, that's 50 hours a week gain. When he said 50 hours, that's 50 hours a month. It's 50 hours a week. Classes in our interactive cloud environment. And that's classes, relevant classes on social media, on blogging, on Facebook, on Instagram. And the classes are being taught by icon agents or agents that Joe mentioned that are leaders in their markets that are utilizing these tools successfully. And they're sharing their ideas. It's really, great the way we can do that, not wait for a quarterly special training event. We get those at least 20 hours of social media training a week. And there's 30 hours in additional training each and every week in our virtual office. That's helped me with my technology learning, getting to close to that number 5 from that number 1.
I mean, if you were to go to the top producer in your old brick and mortar office and said, hey, would you share with me all of your trade secrets and how you set up your team and how you do your marketing? What do you think they're going to answer? No. But yet we have something every Friday called iConversations, where we have a top producing agent that'll come in and literally share every detail that you want to ask them about their business. That one little thing in itself is worth, a gold nugget.
Yeah, and if you have a specialty or a technology or a system that you're really good at, you can apply and to the company and become a facilitator in a training. And the nice thing is, if there's something you want to learn about and the company's not doing it, go into a workplace where we all communicate together. Also, identify what you'd like to learn. And I'm sure with 25,000 agents, there's somebody that's willing to share with you on how to do what you need to know how to do.
So why
Well,
do
I
these
think it's,
icon agents share, Sheri? Why is it all of these agents so giving in the cloud?
well, I think part of it is just our culture and the fact that we are spread out. So we're not really, for the most part, directly competing with each other. And the other part of it, I think more importantly, is because a rising tide raises all boats. I think that's how the saying goes. I mix my metaphors all the time. So if we help each other succeed, our stock price goes up.
That's what
Therefore, all of us benefit with that.
Right.
So of course we're all invested in each other's success. And, even on a local level, I see what's going on in the Madison, Wisconsin area. Agents are always helping each other out with, questions and how do I do this? And, who's had success with this type of lead generation and who needs somebody to work an open house. There's just a lot of collaboration and sharing, and we have the two largest teams in our MLS with EXP. And I wanted to speak to that just, for a moment, because one of the things that I think is phenomenal about this company is the talent that we're attracting all over the country. Top producers, huge brokerages rolling their companies into EXP and our platform. Big coaching organizations, real estate coaches have joined our company. I mean, everybody sees the value in what this company is doing. And it's just, those top producers all over the country are really driving growth for us, because people look at them and go, wow, if they've checked out EXP, there must be something to this company that, we don't know or we need to learn more about. And people are, obviously having a big impact. And they're, the more we grow, the more signs we see in the yard, the more people discover us. And I just think it's incredible how we all share. And one other thing I just wanted to speak to too is this company. What I love about it is it's not only changed my life significantly, it has changed the lives of so many agents that I've brought onto the company. And a lot of them, reach out to me on a regular basis and say, pinch me. I can't believe this is real. Thank you. I was able to, one of my agents who joined is an icon agent, and she was able to leverage some of her stock awards that she received from being an icon agent to pay off her mortgage, which is a huge deal. She's a single mom. She was able to, do that. And this company allowed her to do that. She was not gonna, her firm or company was not gonna pay her mortgage off for her. So I just think that what we offer is so tremendous that people just are, starting to just now discover like what a big deal we are, and it's exciting.
If I could add to that, the mentality of the rising tide, there's something else. A lot of people say, well, they have a funny model where the agents are doing the agent attraction. Yeah, it's turned upside down. And so instead of the broker doing that, we are empowered to do that. And by doing that, it does two things. Number one, it gives us the opportunity to earn additional revenue instead of the broker. That's just it. And then the second one is there's an obligation that when you bring somebody on, you want to help them. You want to help them with their business. You want to help them with, if they want to do agent attraction, you want to help them in their personal life, whatever you feel. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. You feel responsible for them. And so you're reaching out. When I was at my previous brokerage, I could forget about, anybody that came on. You do your business and I'll do mine. But it's a different mentality. I mean, even here today, we don't owe anything to one another, but we're here helping one another out with explaining.
right?
Absolutely.
It's what I saw originally was I had the opportunity to build my own real estate company within EXP Realty and utilize the tools. And I see a lot of independent brokers that are struggling, that, maybe have after 10, 15 years, they're really the super producer. They've got 2 or 3, 4 or 5 other agents working with them, but they're paying all the money. They're paying for the copiers. They're paying for the bricks and mortar, and with EXP Realty, it costs me $50 a month to be part of EXP Realty through the technology that they give us. My part of the university to be in the cloud office is $35 a month. So I've got a total of $85 a month. If I don't sell anything, I still have my real estate company within EXP for a cost of $85. To fill up my Tundra takes me that much in gasoline. Pretty cheap compared to $11,000 a month, right?
You know what it's like? It's almost like a business in a box.
Yeah.
And if you're an individual agent, it fits you. If you're somebody with a team, it fits you. If you're a boutique brokerage, it fits you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
And one of the great things is now if you want to be somewhere else besides where you are doing real estate, with EXP Realty, we have one split across any state that you're licensed in. Right now, I'm starting a team in a new market, whereas I have my original market in Albuquerque. We're doing 20 million up there in Albuquerque. With the same tools, I can go to a different market and start a team. And if I want to be somewhere in the wintertime, I can. If I want to be somewhere in the summertime, I can. And I can use the tools that the company gives me to help me do that.
nice. So I'm going to throw this out and you guys run with it. What are some of the misconceptions that you get out there that you're hearing from other brokerages, people that you might be talking to that said, well, I heard this, that you'd like to dispel about EXP?
I'll start.
Yeah.
So I think one of the biggest myths I hear are, or maybe not a myth, but more of a concern, is that people aren't going to get the support they need because they don't have like a broker's office to walk into and, just talk to a broker. And I respectfully disagree. I worked in a traditional bricks and mortar office, and oftentimes it was more difficult to reach the broker on that, in that office than it was
They were out playing
than it
golf.
is now. Yeah, and now they're accessible by, there's so many ways we can reach them. They're sitting in the cloud waiting for us to show up. They're on Workplace. We can call and text them. I mean, the support that we get from our brokers is really incredible. And, as we all were in that position initially, I think we all did a great job of being, very accessible and very helpful for our agents. And so I think that's a misconception is, if you don't have an office to go to, there's nobody to go to for support. And not only just the brokerage support, but the amount of employees we have in the company that just support us on every level, whether it's accounting or, you need help with technology or your computer's not working right. Whatever it is, there's somebody in the cloud or in Workplace that can help you constantly. So support is phenomenal. And the other thing I think the misconception is we're not a great company for new agents. I hear that a lot. And I used to feel that way a little bit in the beginning. Like I was concerned about not having, an office for brand new agents to go to. And what I found is, the new agents that joined the company actually disagreed with me and said, no, we're getting way more support here than we did with our previous company. We've got a certified mentor program. We have, 50 hours of training in the cloud. We have, just tremendous support from, all the other agents that interact on Workplace. So I think those two things are things I commonly hear and would respectfully disagree with.
How about you, Rick? Oh, you're muted there.
Let me unmute myself. Sorry, I wanted to.
There you go. The technically challenged.
Fully transparent. Yeah, I agree with Sheri. You know, one of the main objections or questions we have is broker accessibility and workplace chat, or you can pop in the cloud. And I hear it all the time from the agents that utilize the cloud or utilize workplace chat, how quick they get an answer. If you email, it might take a while, but you can get an immediate answer by going with a workplace chat or popping into the cloud office. So those are two that, you know, one of the questions was, you know, how do I get paid, or you know, how does my broker review my contracts if I have those issues? SkySlope, it's uploaded, and we've got a transaction coordinator. Payment, we get paid quicker than most any other company because it's direct deposited into your account within 24 hours if you're not funded at the table. Depending on your state rules, agents can get funded at the closing table. That's how EXP operates. And if your state does not allow that, then they'll direct deposit within 24 hours. It could be anywhere from an hour to 12 to 24 hours. I've never seen anyone go past 24 hours since they've really instituted and gotten a hold of that compensation system, that check clearing system. So those been two things, the payment and then the broker questions have been the two biggest questions. I haven't had many questions on the training. Some people say they're not technology, you know, kind of like I was, but the technology and the training is really easier. It's much more user friendly than it used to be. So you know, the broker question has been my biggest question, I guess I would say, of all of them.
You know, when going back to the communication thing, I feel it's almost, they use technology like no other brokerage to communicate. We talk about our cloud virtual office. You have workplace, like you mentioned. There's a number of us are using Voxer. I never knew what Voxer was until I came on board with EXP to support our teams. There's obviously texting, Google Hangouts, Google Chat. So to get that support and that communication, I feel is much more than what I had at my traditional brick and mortar office, because that's the mentality. That's the mindset. If I'm anywhere, anytime, any place, I can tap in and get, you know, questions answered from my support team, and not only from EXP, but it's almost like a bar stool because I have my sponsor or my mentor that I can lean on, and everybody in their downline that you know could possibly be helping out.
You know, it's something I started when I came on 4 or 5 years ago, and my message training my agents and talking to prospective agents was that we did not realize how fast and how far technology was going to change in the next 2 to 3 years. We did not have this Zoom Hangout, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. None of that was available 3 to 4 or 5 years ago, at least not as much as user-friendly as it is today. But here we are today. Where are we going to be 1 and 2 and 3 years from now? Technology, because it's one national company and not independently owned, they can pivot, and I'm going to use the word again, be agile and adjust and present and give all of us agents technology, the latest, greatest technology, because it's one company. You're not having to have all of your independent franchise owners or independent boutique owners with limited budgets having to buy the technology for their independent market. So it's really pivotal of what's going to be happening, I think, over the next 1 to 3 to 5 years of where's technology going to be going forward. And EXP is going to be positioned, because it's publicly traded in one company, to be agile and give all of the agents with EXP that technology. And a lot of other brokerages are going to struggle keeping up with the technology.
Right.
I feel that it's going to be tough going forward for everyone, except the EXP agents.
Technology is not slowing down for consumers.
No.
They're getting faster,
right.
They're getting younger, they're getting more sophisticated. And so, you know, when somebody says, oh, they have too much technology, I would rather be in a brokerage that has a lot of technology and digest it at my free will than to not have it at all, because the market is not going to slow down.
Right.
You know, millennials now know more about most homes than most agents do. You've got to be on top of it. And that's what I love about us, is that not only I think we're way ahead of our time, but we're poised and positioned as we, you know, grow and as technology grows with our real estate industry. We're right there. We're right in the pocket.
Right. And we were talking a little earlier about, you know, the things that have been added over time. You know, we just last quarter of 2019, the company announced health insurance for all of us as agents if we need it. I mean, I went without health insurance for years because it was either too expensive or unavailable. We've got you know, a health insurance process plan now that is much more usable and less cost per dollar than going outside of the company to get it. We've got an iBuyer type platform now. I mean, that in itself, you know, if you want to specialize on some type of sales, you know, just that platform could be a specialty that you utilized.
Well, we're coming up on 45 minutes. I don't want to make this too long. So I'm going to give each of you something to say or an opportunity to speak to anybody that's watching this that may be on the fence about EXP or doesn't even know anything about it. Your thoughts on EXP and why somebody should come here. Sheri, ladies first.
Okay, thanks. That's because then everybody else gets to say, yeah, I agree with Sheri.
Yeah. Well, you have your smartest and brightest go first.
Yeah,
keep
talking,
there you go.
yeah.
Okay, thanks. Flattery will get you everywhere. Okay. So, gosh, I would say it's just a mistake not to look into your options. I feel that way strongly, no matter which company you're with. You know, if you're with a broker, you need to know what your competition is doing. You need to know what else is out there. You need to be a savvy business person and at least investigate how this might be a good fit for you, because you don't know what you don't know. And, you know, there are a lot of misconceptions out there about our company. There are a lot of people that don't fully understand, you know, what it is capable of doing for an agent. Personally, it has changed my life significantly. And I'm so grateful that I was introduced to the company. And if you're somebody who's already with EXP and you're watching this, I really would have to say that by not sharing EXP with other people, you're doing a disservice to agents out there, because this really can impact people's lives in such a positive way. So meaningful. I mean, I personally was able to cut back a lot on my work schedule, travel a lot more, buy an RV. I mean, there's just so many things this company has afforded me to be able to do that I just wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So definitely need to check it out.
Well said. Rick?
Do the math. It's a business decision. Each and every real estate agent is an independent contractor, and we're our own brand. EXP really wants you to promote your brand. So you need to do the math on where you currently are. You kind of need to remove emotion out of the position or out of the decision, and look at your retirement, your future, and do the math and literally explore the model. If you haven't seen the model or looked at the presentation, please take the time to do so. It's worth the 45 minutes to an hour to at least see what the model is, not what on the hearsay is, and do the math in a comparison to what you're getting now to what you could make in the future. And as Sheri said, I'll second, it has changed my life. It has given me more freedom. And I'm actually sitting in Springfield, Missouri, where I've got a team of agents working here. I don't have a real estate team. They're in my rev share, and I came in to support them. And I'm actually in their conference room doing this now. The beauty of the business, you can travel more. I've been to Florida, Houston here. It's afforded me more freedom just from the passive income that's been created through the revenue share and the stock benefits that I've grown through that. But it can change your life. I've got 2 kids in college that it's helped me afford to put them through with no student loans. And it's just been a godsend, believe me. And that it's, you know, take the time, do the math.
Joey?
You know, I talk to people and they say, well, I heard about EXP Realty. And I said, well, have you really taken a hard look at it? Have you had a chance to take a look? And they say, no, I haven't. And I ask them, okay, where are you in your business now? When are you wanting to quit selling real estate? And will your income quit when you quit? And their answer is yes. I was with, and I'll tell them then that I was with the largest company in the world for 16 years, and my retirement would have been about $4,000 a month. Most people I don't have 30 years to do that again. Most people don't have 30 years to build a retirement with a company, and business is changing anyhow. If you want to look hard at eXp Realty, decide to get started, want to participate is either in sales or as into building your revenue stream. eXp Realty, if you'll work it hard, the potential is there for you to do what it takes 30 years at a company to do what you have left in your career in real estate. If you've heard about real estate, eXp Realty, you'll hear about it some more. If you haven't heard about it, you'll hear about it some more. Take a good hard look at it. It worked for me. It's working for 25,000 people in our first 10 years.
Well, I'm going to close it out by showing you a little picture of these guys. And I started thinking about when I made the decision about coming over, I started thinking about, God forbid I got hit by a bus, or, planning for them, as part of my exit strategy. And it only made sense. And I'll guarantee you two have said something about how it's changed your life. I don't know how many agents I've heard say that about their brokerage, but I'm going to echo it. It's changed my life. And I thank Glenn Sanford every time I see him, because it's given me something that I would have never been able to have at my previous brokerage. And if you're watching this, you have to understand there's a line. There's franchises and boutique brokerages, and then there's a publicly traded agent owned, which everybody here owns stock in the company.
Yes.
They have money coming in. I never would have had that at my previous brokerage. And so when you talk about, changing your life, I can, without sounding like a used car salesman, it has changed my life unbelievably. And so
Right.
If you're watching this, reach out. I'm going to put everybody's link on there. If they sent you here, get with somebody at eXp, get with Ricky, Sheri, Joe, and ask for a presentation. Come into the cloud office and have an open mind.
Take a look.
Have an open mind. A lot of people say, I like my coffee at my brokerage. Go get coffee somewhere else. This is about a business model that's going to help you and your family now and when you retire. So, hey guys, I don't know did you have fun?
Oh, I had a blast.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I get giddy. First of all, if anybody thinks that we don't have collaboration and we don't build relationships, that's baloney. I love these folks.
Right.
And we don't even live in the same state. I've just met them at, I seems like I talk to you at least once a week.
We've developed such strong relationships through this company. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So again, our hats off to Ian. Hope you're getting better, brother. And get with somebody today and find out exactly what eXp has to offer you. Have an open mind, and I'll guarantee you it'll be more than what you thought. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.